Bruce! Fake! Liar! You liar!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Folks, I want to tell you, you're doing the right thing. You're keeping up with all the crap that's going on. Of course, you've got food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Of course, you have that and a plan. You understand your neighborhood, your world, right? Whether you're on the West Coast or the East Coast or where Michael Brown is, somewhere just outside of DC. Michael, I got the super chat donation you sent over to CashApp. Thank you, sir, very much. It keeps us going, man. This show is so important to me. I tell you, because we're keeping up with what's going on so we understand the world around us. My video this morning about what the hell is going on, right? Just what is happening out there? Are we getting set up for an invasion? Well, I decided to title this video, folks, right? Who's on whose SHTF team? Who's on whose side? Anyways, get this. In support of my ideas that Turkey may switch sides, that we could be facing an invasion because America has given away its military might, because Europe hasn't invested in their military in decades, and what they do have, they've given quite a bit of it over to Ukraine so they could waste it or sell it to terrorists. And by the way, in addition to Russia or China or North Korea or some other crazy ass country wanting to invade Europe or try to invade America, right? We have terror cells that are being armed with our own weapons that are being sold through the black market. So get this, right? In addition to all the other evidence I've laid out as a potential SHTF escalation, right? President Erdogan of Turkey has come out and said this, that, quote, he understands Putin's decision to cut gas off to Germany because Erdogan also blames the West's provocations. What does that mean? That means the second largest military force within NATO, the first largest military in Europe, in the NATO organization, Turkey says, well, we understand you, Russia, because the West, meaning NATO, of which they're a member state, European Union, the United Kingdom, England, Britain, and the United States, he's blaming this for provoking Putin into invading Ukraine. Isn't that interesting? He's not blaming Voldemort Zelensky. No, he's not blaming Voldemort. He's blaming the West. That is, those who pull the puppet's strings. Something we've been considering and wondering, what is the ultimate goal here? What is it they're trying to accomplish? Folks, it is the monologue and the Q&A. You're live with me right now. On YouTube, you're live with me. On subscribestar.com. No, you're not live on YouTube. You're live on the preparedmind.club. Sorry, YouTube, you're not live. All right. Get your questions in, because the second half of the hour, you guys get to ask the questions, and I'll address your questions as best I can. Folks, I won't blame you for any mistakes that are made. You're in the West, I'm in the West, but we're not the government power. The government power, the government that swings and hits everyone else in the world, bam, bam, always trying to hit them. That is the U.S. government in D.C., the United States government, not the United States of America. That's us 50 states. But there's this organization. It's also a corporation that's headquartered in D.C. It's called the United States. There's some interesting story behind all of this, folks. It's a giant sham. All righty. What are we off to next? Get your questions in, because we're going to get to them very, very soon. This is interesting. I guess I'm going to have to get to it a little later. There's something that's off in Barack and Michelle Obama's portrait unveiling. I don't know exactly what it is, but I thought I would throw that little Easter egg out for you guys and see if you want to go hunt it down. Something is off in Barack and Michelle's portrait. Strange stuff, folks. Strange stuff. Now, let's move on. I want to start by saying, let's play Take a Wild Guess. Take a wild guess what caused this. There's a high school athlete. It ends his football career. What? A 6-foot-long clot in his leg. Now, doctors are baffled. Doctors are mystified. Doctors are confused. Doctors are scratching their heads. What actually happened to this high school boy? Okay, at this age, to play football in high school, you have super athlete health. They run wind sprints, right? They run laps. They're in great shape. They do preseason training through the summer and the fall when it's hot. Super athletes. 6-foot-long clot in his leg. Take a wild freaking guess. And to make this take a wild guess even better, I got to take a wild guess round 2. Are you ready for this? Folks, the United Kingdom, England, has now banned the Jim Jones juice for kids. Why? All of a sudden, why? Well, an investigation has found that the Jim Jones juice affects the sexual development in little boys. And there it is, folks. The Gates goodies, the Bill Gates goodies in the JJJ, the Jim Jones juice. What am I talking about? Bill Gates is part of the eugenics crowd that wants to reduce the world population. Who else really wants to affect the reproductive rights and ability of children? That's right, the leftist lunatics. The leftist lunatics out there. They, folks, are after kids. They want them to cut their genitals off, take puberty blockers. It's a sick bunch, all of these Democrat socialist scumbags. Right? Unbelievable what's going on. Yeah. It's not hard to figure out what's happening. It really isn't. I know what these people are up to. I really do. I hope you got some great questions for today, and I'm going to continue. Now, they're saying, you can't talk about cerveza bug. You can't talk about Jim Jones juice. You can't say the words about the what happened in 2020, right? The UN, United Nations, folks, they have launched a war on conspiracy theories. That's right. Among their concerns, folks, conspiracy theories, according to these United Nations authoritarians, here's what conspiracy theories do. They, quote, foster and reinforce harmful thinking patterns and exclusive worldviews. Meaning, conspiracy theories come to a conclusion that's different, right? One is, Bill Gates and his ilk don't want kids to grow up and reproduce. So they're giving them drugs, right, through injection that cause sterilization. And they tell them that as young kids that they're not the gender that they were born with. And then they offer them puberty blockers, right? And then they tell them to cut their genitals off. Yeah. That's a conspiracy theory, or is that what they're really doing and what they say the reasons are for it? They want to lower the world population. Now, conspiracy theories, again, according to these United Nations authoritarian scumbags, these theories, quote, reduce trust in public institutions and, quote, scientific institutions. You mean like the god of science, Dr. Fauci himself, who has been demonstrated to flip-flop, lie, make shit up, backpedal, and gaslight the world? Right? Now, apparently, folks, conspiracy theories can drive people to violence or decrease their desire to, quote, reduce their carbon footprint. Oh, well, that's incredible. Now your carbon footprint, if you are not a global climate stupid person, right? A climate freak, if you're not one of them, you are now believing in a conspiracy theory, because you could be driven to violence, or you could decrease your desire to reduce your carbon footprint. I didn't know, as an American, as a free human, that I had any responsibility, that I had any personal obligation to reduce my carbon footprint. They can kiss my ass. Unbelievable, right? This is what the United Nations is arguing, folks. So, yeah, conspiracy theories can reduce our trust and belief, right, in authority figures. Well, how about this? Me and you, were the ones who were correct about cerveza bug, that it's not as deadly as they say, that it was a big giant hoax and a lie. The evidence bears it out. The number of people that died, there was no appreciable gain in deaths. We were right about the Jim Jones juice being dangerous and deadly. Yeah, we were right about that. That wasn't a conspiracy theory. And neither was our conclusion about the mortality rates of cerveza bug, because that was supported, folks, by the facts, by the government facts. In fact, people that died from it, well, a large number of them were on ventilators. And people who were sick were sent into retirement homes where people have weaker immune systems. Yeah. What is scientific institutions, right? I think someone like Dr. Birx or Dr. Fauci, they need to be institutionalized, but they need to be the ones wearing the happy coat in the rubber room. Now, we were also right about there being a new world order and a global agenda to take away our national sovereignty, right? That's not a conspiracy theory, folks. Even Biden, Gigi, President Biden, you know, this guy who thinks this of you.
Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
That's right. We're the most extreme organization in history if you believe in Make America Great Again. You want to talk about a dangerous conspiracy, right? Reduce trust in government, it's because of Joe Biden. Reduce trust in government, it's because of Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx, Secretary of Defense Lloyd the Loser Austin, General Milli Vanilli in the Pentagon. Shall we continue? Nandy Proof Nancy, the drunk imbecile who stands up there and just babbles. Unbelievable, folks, right? Was there a population control conspiracy theory? Or, yes, the World Economic Forum, the Guidestones, Bill Gates and other globalists pronounced their desires to control and reduce the population. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's fact. Food production cuts have occurred at the same time globalists tell us to eat bugs. Coincidence? Or was our theory and understanding of what's going on based on their own admission? You will eat the bugs. You will own nothing and you'll be happy about it. Thanks, Klaus. That's right, folks. Klaus has told us that. And they said it was a conspiracy theory that there was a thing called a Great Reset. When Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum, the head of the Davos douches, actually wrote books, entitled them The Great Reset, right? What else was a conspiracy theory? Oh, that the right wing is being censored. Free speech. Well, censorship has been proven to hide the truth about the Jim Jones juice, the cerveza bug. elections, World Economic Forum agenda, social engineering to make us choke down their woke, environmental, ESG, social credit score, medical crap. Our ideas actually make sense because they jive with what the leadership says and what we see in the news and in our own lives, folks. Our ideas make sense. The proven liars in authority are the liars, and they throw out conspiracy theories like this is a pandemic and we're all going to die unless you do exactly as we say. That's some kind of conspiracy, folks, that they're throwing out there as truth. Meanwhile, the things that we see that are factual and truthful, right? That's considered dangerous and harmful by the United Nations. Well, screw them. I'm going to keep speaking up as long as I can, folks. And we know the fight is on. Tucker Carlson is mainstream media, right? He's still on Fox News, and Fox has done everything they can to chase us off of the network. Like, why watch Fox News for any other reason than to catch Tucker Carlson? There's no other reason to watch it unless it's to watch Maria Bartiromo. Anyways, Tucker is mainstream, and he sees it too. And he's now warning that, quote, the elites are making things worse. Wait for it. On purpose. Who are the elites? Joe Biden, Pelosi, the Obamas, the Clintons, the bureaucracy in D.C. Who are the elites? The banking cartel members, the European Central Bank, as well as the Federal Reserve, the oligarchs, the other elites like Jeff Bezos and Zark Zuckerberg and Sorge Soros. All these people that want to get involved in our daily lives. Why? Having billions of dollars of their own isn't enough? They can't find enough to do? Unbelievable. And this is a huge bit of news, folks. Right? Putin is what? Putin has cut Germany off and said, no more natural gas for you. It's cut off Europe. No more natural gas. F you guys until you drop all your sanctions. You're not going to continue to try and hurt us, and we don't take any, well, shall we say, direct action. And this is what Putin has to say, folks. This is what he has to say. Quote, we have not lost anything and will not lose anything. In terms of what we have gained, I can say that the main gain has been the strengthening of our sovereignty. That's what Putin said, folks. Right? When he's warning the elites, the political elite, the business elite, the banking elites, he's warned them. He says sanctions fever, that is putting sanctions on Russia for everything and as long as they can, will see European people freeze, as in freeze to death, as in be cold. Does Putin wish that? No, he doesn't. He would rather, I'm sure, sell lots of gas, oil, uranium, coal to the whole world and make a shit pile of money. But I would say to my customer, if you wish ill and death upon me, well, screw you. I'm not going to sell you my goods then. And that's really, folks, what has been going on is they're like, we need your energy, Putin, but we hate you and we're going to punish you. Well, he's made and is making as much money and more selling his oil and gas and other resources to China, to India, and around the world. There's no need for America. There's no need for Europe. They're doing just fine. Unfreaking believable where this is going, folks. This is unbelievable. These sick bastards that want to inject everybody. The report out of the UK, reproductive problems are caused by the Jim Jones juice in little boys. I wonder what they're going to do to little girls, folks. but the damage has been done, as many as they could to take it. Biden's COVID czar. Once again, we need a czar. Czar meaning Caesar, coming from Caesar. Czar means king, emperor. So the disease king, that's a title I don't think I would want to be known as. Oh, here comes John, the disease king. Right? Stupid. Does that make them feel powerful? Stupid. Anyways, Biden's COVID czar had this to say, quote, "I really believe this is why God gave us two arms, one for the flu shot and the other one for the Jim Jones juice." How many people have to be sick? How many people have to die? How many super athletes have to what? Have to get sick, have clots pulled out of them, have to quit sports, have to have heart attacks, strokes, pass out, die? How many have to die?
With COVID, I mean, the things that we thought we knew in the beginning turned out as the months went by to not be the case, which really forced us to adapt and to change some of our policies and recommendations. That was interpreted by many as flip-flopping or not really knowing what's going on, when it really was the evolution of the science.
Fuck you, Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, fuck you, Dr. Fauci. One for the flu shot and the other one for the Jim Jones juice. That's a great idea. That's what these people think, folks, that we have arms so they can inject us. We get paychecks so we can pay our taxes to these people. We have legs so we can carry the workload for these people. It is unbelievable. All right, folks, it's time for another round of Take a Wild Guess. Well, John, you just did that earlier. Oh, yeah, I got more. See, it's not just one person a day, folks. It's probably hundreds and thousands every day are getting sick, are getting sicker. In this time, let's play Take a Wild Guess. A 24-year-old hockey player, folks. Professional hockey player. These guys skate and pedal and fight and hack shit with their stick like it's bam. Like it's a sword. Hockey. Rough sport, folks. 24-year-old professional hockey player has been forced to retire. Is it because he's a billionaire? Is it because Joe Biden gave him a bunch of money? Did he win the lotto? No, folks. He's retiring due to a sudden cardiac issue. Something went really wrong with his heart. Surprise! Take a wild guess. Oh, and he blames cerveza bug. That's right. He's blaming cerveza bug, not the Jim Jones juice, not the juice boosters. No one said to be a hockey player you have to be smart. In this case, we got someone who drank the Kool-Aid as well as took the Jim Jones juice. Unbelievable. Every day, folks, they continue to say and do stupid shit. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I hope you guys are enjoying, by the way, the newsletter that we're preparing every Tuesday and every Thursday to go out. I enjoy them, and thank you very much, Jolene, for getting that stuff done. Now, I want you to listen to this and watch it again. It is important to understand that Democrats, folks, not just the radical ones in D.C., not just the radical ones in the media, not just the radical ones in the entertainment industry. Democrats want us dead. They consider us the enemy. Listen to this, and then I'll give you some more.
There are public figures today, yesterday, and the day before predicting and all but calling for mass violence and rioting in the streets.
Obviously, Republicans, I think, are the biggest threat to democracy. We don't separate right-wing extremists and Republican Party anymore. Republicans, I think, are the biggest threat to democracy. We don't separate right-wing extremists and Republican Party anymore. Republicans are the biggest threat to democracy.
This means war. That is where we are. We are at war with these people. These folks are evil.
And all but calling for mass violence and rioting in the streets.
This means war.
If you wanted to think you need to have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons.
We are at war with these people.
They mean it. They hate us. They call us extremists. They call us evil. There's no distinction between Trump supporters and regular Republicans. We're all part of the problem. Now get this. Remember this complete lunatic, coked up psychopath, Kathy Griffin. She's the one that during the Trump administration early on held up a severed head, right? Like a head of Trump, right? It had blood all over the face, right? Cut off the president's head. Isn't that a threat? Oh, no. That's entertainment. Well, ridiculous. Anyways, she has this to say. If you don't want a civil war, vote for Democrats in November. Basically, she's saying if we elect Republicans to Congress, there's going to be a civil war. Number one, how does she know? And what the hell does she really know? She's Kathy Griffin. She needs to go bury her nose in another kilo and just, I guess, take a dirt nap for a while. But still, if you don't want a civil war, vote for Democrats in November. So that's a threat. That's trying to scare people. Well, John, you're always threatening and scaring people. You're so scary. You're about fear porn and shit hitting the fan. No. I'm not trying to scare people. I'm reporting what is actually happening. You and I talk about what is actually going on, what these leaders at the world level, the global level, at the local level, at the national level in DC, we're only reporting what they're saying and then looking at the consequences and results of their decisions and their policies, their actions. Unbelievable, folks. And it does go all the way down to the local level. This ESG woke crap. Get this, folks. In Ireland, I think in Dublin, an Irish teacher refused to call a student by his pronoun. And he was arrested. The teacher was told, you're done. You can't teach because you refuse to call this ding-dong lunatic by the pronoun he demands. Well, the teacher went back to school, sat in the empty classroom, and then was arrested for it. And he won't recant his beliefs. He says, my belief. And he's part of a Christian school. He says, part of my religion and all religions in Ireland is, right, it doesn't abide this woke nonsense. Well, he's not going to recant his beliefs, folks, that they is a proper pronoun that he must use. What I have to say is try that shit with me. I can't wait until someone says, John, my pronoun is, and I'm going to say my pronoun is kiss my ass. Oh, wait. I think that's the pronoun that Senator Ted Cruz uses. I'm going to say my pronoun is something. And if anyone tries using it, I'm going to change it. Because I am fluid. One moment, I'm a fire hydrant. The next, I'm a giraffe. Next, I could be a tree. And after that, I could be a Porsche. Right? My pronoun is whatever I say it is. Right? If they can demand we play by their stupid game, we should say you are commanded to use a pronoun that I'm thinking of at any moment. So anytime you speak, if you try using a pronoun and I don't agree that it was the next one to come to my mind, then it's wrong. Right? We have to read their minds and satisfy their lunacy. Well, I plan on doing it to them, right? Try that shit with me. I'm going to have a good time. Because now, folks, I'm up at 0 dark 30. I'm out of the bunker. and I'm mixing with the general public on a regular basis. At some point, I'm going to run into one of these stupid fuckers, and it's going to be very, very interesting. Now, speaking of woke and ESG and stupid bullshit, right? These ESG, environmental social governance, woke cards, they're going to force you to comply with their ridiculous social, sensual, genital bullshit rules. And they're going to force you to get rid of your gas automobile, right? They're going to force you and me to comply to their game. But they want to give themselves a pass. I want to show you, folks, these people are all complete hypocrites. They have all the money in the world, and they're still hypocrites. So Amazon, folks, had rooftop solar panels. They have them on all their buildings because they're woke, and they're socially set, and they're environmentally sensitive. Well, guess what they did? They took them all offline on their solar panel systems because there were fires and explosions that came about as a result of their systems. In other words, folks, the systems are failing. But guess what they didn't do? They didn't tell anybody in the ESG world. They didn't come out and say, well, our carbon footprint is now bigger because we're using more energy off the grid. They didn't admit anything. They didn't tell the world, yeah, we're a bunch of regular businesses again. These woke tards didn't want to tell anyone. They gave themselves a pass. But guess what? They've been caught. Does that mean SHTF is over? Not a fucking chance. It is just begun. Chance favors the prepared mind. Let's get your questions because now it's time for the Q&A.
Are you ready?
Oh boy. Right. Oh boy. It is your turn. What do you guys want to talk about? Let's start with one right out the box. Jolene, what do we got? We got Bonnie Blue says local morning libertarian radio call-in talk show, the Gary Nolan Show, has crossed the Rubicon and is talking about the embalmers reporting the long clot structures in the people they are embalming. This gets the clot part of the clot shot into mainstream discussion. It's coming out, folks. Are we going to hold Fauci and Birx and Pfizer and Moderna and AstraZeneca? Are we going to hold these people accountable? A large part of this depends on who controls Congress. Now, we can say who is not going to do anything about this. President Biden is not going to do anything about this and let the information out and get to the truth. Neither is Dr. Fauci or Dr. Birx. Neither is Nancy Pelosi. Neither is Chuck Schumer. Neither is the mainstream media. Neither will any local media want to jump all over this one and start talking about what the people who are dying have in their bodies. Oh, they died of diabetes, but wait a minute, they've got all these other issues. Oh, they died of a stroke, but yeah, they got all these clots inside their systems. Folks, if you took a bunch of Jell-O and injected it into me and it started clotting me up, would you say, wow, John just had a heart attack, it happens? Or would it be, no, we injected John with Jell-O and it jellified and clogged his fucking arteries? These people are sick as fuck. But it's coming out, folks. The shit is coming out of the horse. You please vote this fall. Let's vote in Make America Great Again. Let's vote in America First. Let's vote in non-rhino Republicans. I really want everyone to get active. I made sure that my registration is good. I've got a registration card where I live. It tells me where to go to vote. I am registered and I'm going to get active and more active and more active. I hope you do as well. Prep to action. We all need to do it, right? We're doing it here. When you share that internet address up there, share that address. No, it's up there. Share the address, the URL, so people can learn and watch. It's getting very nasty, folks, and we need to engage in this fight. We need to engage in this big, big, big time. Okay, Jolene, what do we got next? Thank you, Bonnie Blue. We got Mikey G. He said, didn't Turkey support Hitler during World War II? Supporting Hitler, supporting Germany, supporting the Axis powers. The Iranians were buddies with Hitler. I can't remember if Turkey was. Now, World War I was actually a battle between Western Europe, Eastern Europe, and the Ottoman Empire, which included Turkey. That was like a 3 armies battle. Just very nasty stuff. I can't remember where Turkey was, but Turkey has always been an ally, more or less, to Russia, a serious trading partner, because Turkey's always been on the outs, right? They're not part of the in crowd in Europe. They're not cool enough, right? Turkey's also pretty damn nasty with its human trafficking, drug trafficking, money laundering, and other, shall we say, nefarious activities. But, you know, that's how the world is. Most countries are, whether the leaders and the media want us to know. Right? That's just how it goes. But Turkey, look out. I have some big questions about them. I think that they're going to switch at some point and join the axis of dark power, right? I think they're actually going to join the BRICS nations. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. I think that Turkey's going to. They have both American and, shall we say, Russian military equipment. They buy from both sides. All right, let's play on this game, folks. What do we got next? We got user number 064B6262. Wow. Could the invasion be all the military-age men walking across our border every day? The answer is that is certainly what it appears to be. I don't think all of the people coming across are military-aged, but a significant percentage are right in the sweet spot for people who are military-aged. Males between the ages of 16 and 30. Yep. They're coming in. They're not being questioned. They're not having background checks. They don't have papers. They're just being let in. They're not having to take an oath of, as if an oath would matter. But they're not taking oaths to the Constitution, to America. Nope, they're just being let in. Unbelievable, folks. Crazy stuff. All right, what do we got now? We've got Oregon Patriot, who says, while about as unconstitutional as it gets, New York is passing a law requiring background checks to buy ammo, reinforces something I've said for years. Ammo is the weak link in the Second Amendment. They can never take all the guns, but they sure can shut off the manufacturing of ammo. This is why I hand load every caliber I own, except 22, of course. Okay, Oregon Prepper, I want to address this. There's been court decisions, high court decisions about ammunition. Ammunition is part of a firearm system or a weapon system or a defense system. Ammunition is required for the Second Amendment to be viable. Therefore, ammunition is considered part of it. The same as the First Amendment, free speech has everything to do with political speech as it does religious speech and belief systems. So they tried putting a massive tax, and I think this was in Illinois, and it was somewhere between 15 and 20 years ago. They tried taxing the shit out of ammunition to make it more difficult for people to buy. And it was considered by the court to be an unconstitutional violation because it placed an incredible burden, this tax, on people who didn't make as much money, the poor, as well as the middle class. It was an unfair burden, and it interfered with the people's right to keep and bear arms, which requires the use of ammunition. Now, if I was more concerned about the Supreme Court, as in, if they haven't been putting out so many pro Second Amendment decisions as of late, and especially in the last 20 years, I would be much more concerned that they would say, yeah, have all the guns you want, but it's now illegal and it's a death penalty if you have any ammunition, right? I would be fearful of that, except the decisions that have been coming out are pro Second Amendment, pro rights, pro individual rights, right? And there have already been rulings that you cannot tax the living shit out of ammunition and make it so difficult to obtain that it obstructs, infringes, impedes, and impairs a regular person's ability to enjoy the use of that right, which is one of self-defense and defending the nation. But yeah, they're going to try, and they'll keep trying, and they'll pass laws, which is why I want accountability. I really like what Governor DeSantis has done in Florida, and that's if someone is not doing their job or violating their oath, they're to be suspended, removed from office. And I really believe they should be tried for criminally violating the rights of the people and using their office and the color of law to violate the rights of the people, right? Just because you're a bureaucrat, with all kinds of power entrusted to you, does not make you the law, doesn't give you the shall we say, discretion, right, to choose which laws you'll enforce and to enforce and create laws and rules and regulations that violate the rights of others. They knowingly do it. So I think they should be held accountable criminally as well as civilly. And I'm hoping we're going to get there, folks. I really do. Boy, I tell you, what a time. I want to talk about this real quick. This was a big deal. Hold off if you can, Jolene. Senator Lindsey Graham, Senator Lindsey Lighten the Loafers Graham, was actually out over the weekend. Now, he is a piece of shit, a POS rhino, if ever there was one. He really is. But he came out and said something and said he was, quote, stating the obvious because he predicted riots in the streets if Trump is indicted. He's expecting riots in the streets. Now, he didn't come out and castigate or chastise Republicans, but he predicted, yeah, there's going to be riots if Trump is indicted. Now, since the Mar-a-Lago raid by the FBI, right, the thought came out that, yeah, they're going to try arresting him. And then Senator Graham says, well, there'll be riots in the streets. And the conventional wisdom was, no, let's wait till after the elections to arrest Trump. Too much tension built up. Right. Well, this is what Graham said. Quote, at the end of the day, nothing happened to her, Hillary, over her illegal server felony. Remember that. She had an illegal server in her house, a felony. So Senator Graham said, at the end of the day, nothing happened to her. So here's what I said. The raid on President Trump's home, the likely nominee for 2024, better bear some fruit here. If it's just about mishandling classified information, then we have a standard set when it came to Hillary Clinton. Right? He added that arresting Trump would be, quote, one of the most disruptive events in America. Folks, the powers that be, they know there's going to be hell to pay if they arrest Trump. The question for you and me is to realize the will to arrest Trump is there. But are the demo-fascist crats, are they willing to go that far? It's not just going to disrupt events in America. It would send shockwaves through America. The Democrats would be gleeful. Republicans would say, no more. Right? That's where they're heading, folks. There's this place. It's called no man's land. There's this place, right? It's crossing the red line, right? The point of no return. But never underestimate, folks, the fear, the temerity, the gross stupidity of these evil people. They really want to arrest him. They want to dissuade you from thinking you can be free. They want to take away any belief that a political leader in America can stand up to them, the deep state and the evil globalist bastards. They want to take away any notion that somebody can go to Washington and fix the problems. They want us to believe that they are permanent, that they're perpetual, and that they're all powerful. So Lindsey Graham is right? They better bear some fruit, meaning their searches, their seizures. Now, the examination of the information leads me to believe that, no, they're full of shit. They've got nothing on Trump, or they would have arrested him. They would have gone to the media and said, take a look at all of this. Instead, they've got a bunch of lies and bullshit, fake photographs, fake documents. And boy, they're waking more and more people up, folks. Even a sizable chunk of Democrats know that this is a political witch hunt and it's a sham. But never underestimate the fear of those in power in D.C. Those jackasses up there, folks, will do anything to keep their power, hold their power, and squash anyone that wants to get in the way. We need to be on alert. We need to be vigilant. And we need to be very active. We need to be calling, texting, writing. We need to be very active. Prep to action. We all need to do that, folks. To show these people in charge, whether it's at your local level, whether it's at the state level, or whether it's at the federal level, we need to be very active in telling these people, we see you, we understand what you're doing. The Constitution is universal, timeless, and perpetual, not you guys. And the Declaration of Independence, that is the neutron bomb of, shall we say, political philosophy. And it's law. It is law. All right, let's move on. I'll get off of my soapbox there. We got Latin America preparedness. He says, midterm election in 2 months. The politicians will not care when midterms are over. All payment freeze will end and not be extended. Economic crash and market crash starting with crypto causing more SHTF thoughts. The midterm election is in 2 months. And someone could say, well, there's no getting around that. Well, actually, they want to cancel them. The Democrats would love to have an event, a false flag, a riot, something that they could point to and say, hey, we need to cancel this so they could retain their power. They would love it. Why wouldn't they? Wouldn't we have loved Trump to stay in office rather than get Joe Biden? Hell, Democrats don't like Joe Biden in office. They don't like paying more, a lot of them, for fuel, food, electricity, their lives, while many of them are stupid enough to say, well, it's really worth it. We got rid of Trump. No more mean tweets. I'll pay double for my gas and food. Idiots. Idiots. I'm doing my part to make America better. We're going to build back better. Yeah, right. Anyways, to continue Latin America preparedness, all payment freeze will end and not be extended. After the midterms, they're going to make people pay their rent, make people pay their mortgage, make people pay off their student loans. There's pain coming, folks. We have huge monetary issues. Russia and China are no longer buying U.S. bonds. They're no longer financing this country. Why should they? Would you? Right? If your neighbor was doing everything he could in his power to hurt you, right, to take your money, to ruin your job, to dig your yard up, to destroy your driveway, would you continue to give them money? Why should Putin continue to help the United States of America out, help the U.S. government, help Europe out, if all they're going to do is crap all over Russia and do everything they can to destroy it? Unbelievable. Market crash, economic crash, crypto. Folks, it's not up to you and me. It's very possible that this is going to be what is coming. But they don't want, I don't think, cities burning to the ground. I mean, who are they going to blame? Literally, who are they going to blame? Are they going to blame Trump? They can't. Now, they could arrest Trump and then blame any problems on Republicans and then declare martial law. They could do this before or after the election. The potential is there. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not even saying it's likely. I'm saying the potential is there. What we don't know is how fearful are these cowards in DC, because they're cowards. They are the proverbial pussies that we always knew they were. They're a bunch of bullies and a bunch of wimps, and they want to use other people, right? Their muscle. They want to use other people as their muscle to hurt, to keep us down. All right. Thank you. Great topic. And I'm expecting some serious market problems. I do believe it's coming. All right. Jolene, what have we got next? Who is up? We got 10 minutes to go, and we got Jeff. He says, I'm okay with sterilizing all the leftist morons who got jabbed. And this is what's interesting, Jeff, is who are the people who have been lining up to get jabbed with the Jim Jones juice and the juice boosters? The leftists. Now, some old folks who believe doctors, well, they got fooled, didn't they? They got suckered in. People who need to travel for business. Well, do you want to get fired or not? Well, they got screwed. Now, I do know Republicans, folks, some serious conservative Republicans who were anti-Jim Jones juice, and then they ended up getting it. Okay, it happens. But for the most part, I think it is the Democrats. Well, when Trump was in office, even Kamala Harris said, there's no way, cackle, 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 no way I'm going to get that shot because it's Trump's. But as soon as Biden became president, yeah, they're all for it. Biden's the savior. Well, idiots, have at it. And yeah, they're going to get sterilized. They're going to be sick. They're going to be, they're going to have health problems. They're going to be a drag on the system. Now, it's interesting that we're now hearing about all of these clots from undertakers, morticians, in hospitals, clots being pulled out of kids. I can't imagine the symptoms this kid had where he went to the hospital and was like, yeah, my leg has got a big bulge running down the vein on my leg. What the hell? And the doctor's like, yeah, we got a problem here. And they go in and pull out a 6-foot freaking clot. How is any of that? It's not normal. Sterilizing, strokes. I mean, what a stroke is it just a small chunk of fat or cholesterol or something that breaks off, travels up the jugular, the carotid, or whatever the hell that vein is, into the brain, and it blocks off a portion of the brain. So it starves, doesn't get oxygen, doesn't get food, and it dies off. That's what a stroke is. I can't imagine a 16-year-old high school football player who no longer can play sports and probably is going to be on a lifelong regime of Coumadin, blood thinner. But these leftists, they're sterilizing themselves, and hey, have at it, I guess. Right? I have no problem with these people killing themselves. But I have a feeling they're going to become zombies, folks. I'm waiting for the zombification. And what I mean by that is parts of their brains killed off, but they're not dead. They're still alive. They're physically weak. They're short of breath, right? They're not, their mobile function, their facial control, right? Zombies. That doesn't mean they're going to think really well, right? They're dangerous individuals. It's coming. I really believe there's going to be a lot more of it. All right, Jolene, what do we got next? As we roll up this hour, we got James Nicholson. He says, food for thought. If we are all running low on weapons of war, meaning the countries, the U.S., European nations, Russia, supposedly, Ukraine, if we're all running low on weapons of war, there are still some we have in abundance, and it would be the quickest way to population reduction. That's certainly a quick way, right? The quickest way, I think, would be nuclear war, nailing all of the major cities, which would really, not be great for people. There's a lot of Republicans that do live in cities, even though they're greatly outnumbered. But I don't really believe. I don't think China is low on weapons. I do not believe Russia is low on weapons. I know the American people are not low on weapons. I think that this is a story out there. It's designed, it's engineered to create a belief system. That's what I think this is. This weapons of war thing that I'm looking at here, your statement. I don't think they're really running low. I think they want us, the people, to believe they're running low. So that if an invasion occurs, they can say, we already sent all of our weapons to Ukraine. We can't help Mexico. We can't help Central America. We can't help South America if the Chinese invade. That's what I think this is about. It's about setting some sort of psychological propaganda scheme. That's what I believe it is. I'm still chewing on it, folks. When I did that video this morning, these are ideas that are coming out because they're continuing to push that story, right? That story. All right, let's move on. I know we're running out of time and we have just a couple of thoughts. I've got a bunch of stuff to talk about here all lined up, but I want to get to yours. Thank you, James. Great topic. Food for thought. Yeah. There's a serious shortage going on. I think it's more a problem with brain power. Okay, what do we got? Sally Sue was up there. Sally Sue, what are you expecting to happen? Well, that's a broad statement. That is very broad. I'm expecting chaos. I'm expecting chaos at some point. Whether the left turns their idiots, thank you, Jolene, whether the left turns their idiots loose on the street, whether there's a false flag or an invasion, if you will, I'm expecting chaos. Could it be because there are fuel problems? It could be contributory. Food problems, that would definitely be contributory. Power being turned off. Yep. I mean, this has been an interesting thing. Here's a story. Massive power outages across the Bay Area, California. That's Northern California Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. California's grid operator declares emergency, right? In fact, Jolene sent the R Syndicate some of the temperatures they're expecting to have up in Northern California. They're pretty nasty. It's pretty nasty. But I was telling you guys, yeah, okay, 112, that's damn hot. I've been in Fresno, California when it was 114. That's freaking hot. I get it. I've been there, right? But California has screwed itself, absolutely screwed itself. But Jennifer Granholm, the U.S. Secretary of Energy, has actually come out and said that California's in the lead for making great decisions about energy and their environmental policy. Yeah, they're in the lead. They have the worst, right, grid problems, period. In fact, the California power grid system out there, they've decided they're going to have to fire up, guess what? Some carbon burning power plants because they don't have enough power and it is that bad. Imagine how bad it's going to be in another year, folks. Whether or not in Washington, D.C., there is a Congress comprised of a majority of Republicans. Imagine how bad it's going to be in 2 years in California. In 2 years, folks, we're going to be coming up on a presidential election. California is going to be even worse off. Same with Illinois, same with New York State, same with many states. It's going to get worse. If Trump gets reelected, it's not going to fix any of the problems, folks. It's not going to fix anything, right? I mean, this is interesting, right? The president of the European Union, Ursula von der Leyen, says, quote, Putin is using energy as a weapon. Yeah, he is. He will fail. Europe will prevail. Folks, these people have no brain power. The U.S. is using the dollar as a weapon. No one sees a problem with that. But, Putin's bad, but he's not going to win. Meanwhile, Italy says, we're on our knees. Let's kill the sanctions. Folks, no energy from Russia, no civilization, end of story. America, no electricity, no gas, no civilization, end of story. Without gasoline, diesel fuel, oil, we go back to the Stone Ages. There will be no industrial farming. People will starve en masse. We won't need to worry, folks, about anything else. It will be SHTF Mad Max if they're stupid enough to go all the way with their programs. At some point, they got to turn that ship around. They got to start it. But we are in for a doozy, folks. That's why I said SHTF, it's going to last at least a decade. It started with Cerveza bug. It continued with the Jim Jones juice. They switched gears into high gear, pushing for World War III with Russia and China with Taiwan. They're pushing for it, folks. The monetary system failing, economic system failing, financial system failing, legal system failing, militaries failing, education failing, courts. Surprisingly, the U.S. Supreme Court is doing some good stuff. But what would it take? Well, what if Biden stacks the court? What if someone assassinates a few Supreme Court justices? We'll have a left-wing Supreme Court, and they'll tell you that Constitution doesn't matter. President has all the rights because it's an emergency, and the Declaration of Independence is garbage. Crazy stuff, folks. Crazy stuff. Let's do this. Let's sleep on it. Let's take a little break. Well, I'm not going to take a break. I'm going to keep reading, keep learning, keep watching, keep an eye on things, folks, so that when I see you next, right, I'll have more to talk about. It's not going to run out. There's more to talk about. We need to be prepared. And I want to thank you for going to the preparedmind.club to buy your goodies. Right? We have links to our affiliate companies that have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Right? We've got all that stuff there for you guys. It's your store, and you've been using it, and I'm very glad. It helps keep the lights on here in Studio B. It helps keep Spam and tuna fish in the pantry. And we need all the help we can get here, folks, so we can continue getting this message out there and telling people chance favors the prepared mind and asking the question, are you prepared? God bless America, folks. Semper Fi means always faithful. It's time, folks, to get ready. It's going to get very nasty. It's not going to get better before it gets a lot worse. I'll see you soon. Get prepared.